All signs are good for Dusty in the first place Nats. A 4-3 road trip through Philly and Miami, highlighted by a powerful showing from a few key components. Now they're back home to face the Twins, winners of 5 out of 7 after an 0-9 start. Gio gets the call in Game 1 on Masson. Interleague baseball is here. A lot of fans are here for a Friday night. Happy to have the Nats back home. So are we. Homeward hug, and now time for some baseball. Yeah, that's Thomas Jefferson. He wears number 3. Bob and FP, good to be back. AL Central, NL East here tonight. Minnesota, the rough start. The Nats are 5 out of 6 at home. Seems like a long time since we've been here for some reason. But that first homestand, they lost the first one, then ripped off 5 in a row.
Yeah, just a quick homestand, right? Still getting used to the white uniforms. Or wear their blue tops tonight like they will every Friday this year. But they're playing well. You look at the numbers at home, 5-0, 9 runs allowed, opponent average 200, save opportunities 4 for 4. I mean, right now they're playing so well, it really doesn't matter home or road, but it's nice to be back home as a player, get settled in your apartment, get your routine. I think that's the biggest thing about this homestand.
The new and reinvented, it seems, Gio Gonzalez. Fastball velocity down, not a big deal. He's sinking it. He's throwing his secondary pitches in FP. Look at that 0.69 ERA.
He's focused. He's all about strike one. He's working on it between starts. Him and Mike Maddox are really focused on strike one, pounding the strike zone. Get this. He's 76. The team is 76-48 when Gio Gonzalez starts as a Nat. That's a .618 winning percentage. So he knows how to keep his team in the game. He knows how to win baseball games.
Tells you a lot about Gio and the guy who gives him some of the offensive support. Bryce Harper, 7 games on the trip. He hit 400, drove in almost 2 runs a game. He had RBIs at one point, home and road in 8 consecutive games. Bryson Murphy leading the way. Wait for the offense when the other guys start cooking around those two. All on Masson, brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. By T-Mobile, get Major League coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. And by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. So, Gio jerseys, how popular will they be after this outing tonight? Nat Pat getting everybody ready. For now, at least, it's a very comfortable evening at the ballpark. Possible weather approaching. 68% humidity. That tells you that there's some moisture in the air, and 69 degrees. Minnesota Twins are 6th in the American League, hitting .251. They've been shut out twice already, but don't blame it on Joe Mauer. .326 career in interleague. That's his overall big league average in his outstanding career. And Joe Mauer, no longer a catcher, mainly a first baseman, sometimes a DH, is hitting .385 on the road for Paul Molitor's Twins. And here comes Gio. Gio Gonzalez has started 7 games against Minnesota in his career.
Our last start against Philly on the 17th, received a no decision. 7 innings, 4 hits, gave up just 1 run, struck out 8. You remember that 1 run was on a 3-0 fastball to Carlos Ruiz, a green light. So Gio coming off a great start, but you saw the distribution of his pitches just now. But his last start, he threw the fastball 73% of the time, the curveball 7, and lots of changeups at 20%. Set the defense behind Gio tonight. Worth, Taylor Harper, your outfield. Espinosa, Rendon left side. Murphy, Zimmerman right side. And Gio's personal catcher, it seems like, Jose Lobaton behind the plate. Jason Worth back in there today, stretching that hamstring right now. Ryan Zimmerman back in there. Both had the day off yesterday in South Florida.
A little chat with Jim Joyce, the crew chief. Still the best defense in the National League. Fewest errors along with the Mets. So there's Jim Joyce. Chad Fairchild has the plate. Toby Basner at second. James Hoy at third. Gio ready for the Twins. He's not the same guy, though, who's gone 2-3 career with a 7 ERA. So it's 7:06 in D.C. and here we go. That's on the outside edge. The hitter, Eduardo Nunez, their second baseman, 10 hits in his last 7 games. Boy, what a good changeup that was. Pulling out the off speed right out of the chute.
Skipper's ready. He's got double blue sweatbands on today.
And the 0-2. Up and in. Nice 0-2 pitch. A lot of purple for the Twins.
Tribute to Prince. They're all wearing purple sweatpants tonight. I like it.
1-2. He'll bend him straight down with that fastball up and in. Nunez, 28-year-old infielder from the Dominican, hit .282 for the Twins in 72 games. Signed originally with the Yankees. I'll get you familiar with some of these guys. Saw a few of them 3 weeks ago when Minnesota was here for those 2 exhibition games. Big curveball. Had him jumping outside to try to reach it. 1 out.
Now, there was a time in Gio Gonzalez's career where he would go through the lineup first time and show primarily fastball. I want to establish a fastball, sink it, four-seam it, move it around, and then pull out the curveball and change second time around. But tonight, first hitter of the game, just kind of shows you the maturation process of Gio. Fastball, two-seamer, changeup, and then a curveball for strike 3. Showed him every pitch.
Next up, the second baseman, Brian Dozier, starting to show some signs of life after a very slow start. He's on a 6-game hitting streak, but hitting only .203. And against Gio, 1 for 3 career with an RBI. 3 Twins in the lineup. First 3 guys, Nunez, Dozier, and Mauer, have hit against Gio before. Man, everything for strikes here in the early going.
Got 7% curveball last start. He's thrown 2 already in his first 7 pitches.
Target way in, and that's exactly where the fastball comes. Jose Lobaton usually handles Gio very well. Kind of a masterful battery combination for Gio when he's got Lobaton back there. And a 1-2 pitch. He turns it over on the change. We're seeing the entire repertoire here early. 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, kitchen sink first inning, but look at this changeup. A 3-pitch see ya, but the bottom drops out. Dozier's head flying out. Was thinking about that fastball in he threw him earlier. Watch him pull off. Pulls the string. Nice pitch. Gio Gonzalez is pitching.
Facing 32-year-old St. Paul, Minnesota native Joe Mauer. Off to quite a start. 8th in the American League in hitting, 1st in on-base percentage. So Mauer 339 overall, 472 the on-base number, and as I mentioned, 385 on the road.
First pitch strikes, 3 out of 3.
Target away. I mean, right where the catcher is setting up. Inside the numbers with Gio from Jeep, and first pitch strikes.
Look at the percentage this year. Small sample size, obviously, just 2 starts, but something he's really working on between starts. Mike Maddox talking about working on it mentally in his bullpen between starts and taking it into the game.
Yeah, liking that trend a lot.
Playing catch, everything about hitting the target.
He jams Mauer. Murphy was on the outfield grass. Throws to Zimmerman. And what a good return home. Gio didn't get to pitch in his hometown, but he likes his home park here. Good crowd gathering. A lot of folks still coming down Half Street. The Nats are 8th in the league in hitting, 241, 8th in runs, 7th in home runs. And Jason Worth seems to like American League pitching. With Toronto early in his career, 33 homers, 2nd among National League hitters.
That's the stat he shows to the Red Sox in a few years when he goes to DH.
Ryan Howard, the only National League hitter with more interleague home runs.
You see the arsenal. The breaking ball is a slider curveball. Just started throwing the curveball this year. Worked on it in spring training. Above average slider. Change up pretty good at 82. He'll sink the fastball, cut the fastball. Kind of moves it around. Smooth, easy delivery. Kind of got that downhill plane because of his 6'6", 210 frame. Not a lot of deception in his delivery. A guy that relies on command.
Below in the zone. Perfect. 92. Taylor on base 8 of his last 11 games.
Yeah, slider probably his best pitch. It's a swing and miss slider.
Paul Molitor.
Yeah.
One of the best hitters ever. One of the quickest bats you would ever see. Slider away. Taylor victimized by that a lot when they get him 0-2.
Let's set the defense for the Twins. Rosario, Buxton, Sano, the outfield. Escobar, Nunez, left side. Dozier, Mauer, right side. And our old friend Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. There's Kurt. He was a good Nat.
He sure was. Guys love pitching to him. There's Anthony Rendon. 8-game on-base streak. Continue that with a base on balls in Miami yesterday. That ball pretty well hit and out of play down right field corner way.
So I'm being told that the Nats are going to wear their dark blues every Friday this year.
Cool.
And on military appreciation days as well. But so Friday blues, I'm digging it. I've been saying for a while they should wear them more because they're the best tops in baseball.
Oh, 1. At 94 up in the zone. Zimmerman in the hole, Harper on deck. Big breaking ball. Anthony waited for it beautifully. What a great adjustment to get that base hit.
Well, you wonder why the big shift for the Twins right here. We've seen Anthony Rendon over the years. He's a guy he's a sprayer. I mean, you never know where he's going to hit it. If he decides to pull it, he'll pull it. But you see where Brian Dozier's playing him. He's playing him to pull. Anthony Rendon will take it. There goes the no-hitter.
Ground ball to second. No, wait a minute. It's a base hit. Here comes Bryce. He's been on base 14 of his last 15 games. Not a lot of hits in Miami, but a lot of damage. Tapper to the pitcher. And close at first. Bryce beats it out to keep the inning alive. On the relay by Escobar.
I'll tell you what, it's a pretty good play by Kyle Gibson. He gets rid of this quick. You talk about fielding your position. He comes off the mound. Bryce hustling down the line with his chain in his mouth. Was his chain in his mouth the whole way? That'll be on every highlight show in America tomorrow. He's got his track shoes on. That's why I beat it.
Well, Bryce wasn't in college enough to win the Golden Spikes Award, but he can wear them whenever he wants, evidently. And that's on the edge to Ryan Zimmerman.
Look at, was I right? Did he have his chain in his mouth? It goes in there halfway and then he just eats it. I mean, of course that's going to be everywhere, right? It doesn't matter what the kid does. But that was pretty amazing. I don't know if I've ever seen that before on the way down to first. The chain actually going into his mouth and then him biting on it the rest of the way. Bryce Harper, the movie.
Three for three, by the way, in steals. We remarked about this the other day. Just the way some of the games have gone since that first homestand. The Nats just haven't had that many running opportunities.
Bryce looks like he wants to go. Gibson too fast.
Ryan did not play yesterday. 2 for 12, a homer, 2 RBIs in the Miami series. Gibson, #1 draft pick by the Twins 7 years ago. Indiana native. He was drafted out of the University of Missouri. Career record 26-29, 77th start. Nats wouldn't mind seeing the line move to Daniel Murphy here in the first inning.
I just learned something new. On deck came from a Navy term, on the flight deck, and for safety to avoid confusion, the hole was below the level of the flight deck, so that's where you get on deck and in the hole. I never knew that. And I found out in Navy Yard, so go figure. Did you know that?
No. Now if Bryce starts for second, we'll holler bolter, bolter, because that's when a plane tries to land on a carrier, then it has to take off and try again.
All right. I haven't heard that baseball term before.
3-1. Way outside. Murphy will bat. He has endeared himself to Nationals fans early by hitting .556 at Nationals Park. Highest batting average of any home hitter in baseball. He's actually faced Kyle Gibson before, one of only 2 Nats who have in the lineup tonight. Murphy 2 for 3 career with an RBI against the right-hander. Lobaton has also faced him. And the other Nat who's on the bench tonight, Stephen Drew.
So the pilot would have been in the hole until he boarded his plane on deck. Makes sense, right?
Absolutely. Murphy, base hit left field. Here comes Harper. Rosario has 1 outfield assist on the year. That's offline. The Nats take the lead, and the runners move up to second and third. There's no place like home for Daniel Murphy. 9th RBI of the year.
I mean, just Daniel Murphy, professional hitter. He gets a 2-seam fastball away. You throw him in, he's pulling the baseball with authority. You pitch him away, he goes the other way. See Bob Henley hopping up there, waving Bryce Harper. Strong throw by Rosario, but it was offline. Murphy advances to second, Zimmerman to third, and just like that, it's 1-0 Nats on another base hit off the bat of Daniel Murphy. What new?
Yeah, hitting streak came to an end yesterday. He embarks on a new one. Murphy now on base 15 of his last 16 games. So he adds to that .404 batting average. Outside to Jason Worth, and suddenly quite an extended inning for Kyle Gibson. Trying to run that fastball back, but it started too far out. And on the touch pitch, the breaking ball, he drops one in. Outside, ball 3. Jason getting a share of walks. He's been on base 14 times this year, 8 hits, half dozen bases on balls. Danny Espinosa next. Jason Worth takes the walk. Second walk of the inning. This is interesting because Gibson, FP, came in 10 strikeouts, 10 walks. It's been happening to him.
Well, you know, it's kind of a different lineup he's facing here tonight. I mean, they're going to work the count. They're going to make you pay if you make a mistake. And maybe he thought when he got Bryce Harper out that he could let up a little bit because he got the guy they circled in the meeting today out on a fielder's choice. So maybe you take a deep breath and think, okay, I'm out of this thing. And then walk, single walk, and now you got bases loaded and you're up against it.
Big spot early for Danny Espinosa. 7 for 43 overall, left-handed, 5 for 31. He has driven in 3 runs. Big gap right center. Danny Espinosa hit that one grand slam right after he was called up in 2010. Oh, 1, 2 outs. Gibson got the inside edge. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
Just kind of runs it back off the plate, and you look where Danny Espinosa is striding. He's kind of closing himself off to that inside pitch right now. It's tough for him to get to. Anything out over the plate, he's been driving the other way or up the middle, but the pitch in, when you stride across toward the plate, is tough to get to. It's called cutting yourself off or closing yourself off.
Danny Espinosa hit by the pitch. Sounded like that got the elbow guard. The Nats lead 2-0. Tough way to get your 4th RBI.
But it's just back to what we're talking about. If you look at where his stride is going, you can see his cleat print from up here. He's stepping right toward the plate. So when you step toward the plate, you're automatically going to be on top of the plate. You see where his stride is just a little bit closed, and then he rolls the tricep in there. And he's saying, "Are you kidding me?" He thought that was close to a strike. Danny Espinosa with the tough RBI. I'll take it.
Yeah, conference on the mound now. Twins pitching coach is Neil Allen.
Well, he saw the reaction we saw, so he's out there with his young pitcher trying to calm him down. He's a little bit rattled that he thought that pitch wasn't that far in.
Well, big spot for Jose Lobaton. He's the other Nat in the lineup tonight that has faced Gibson before, and Jose against him. 2 for 2 on the season, playing in his 4th game. He's hunting his first RBI or RBIs. Up in the zone with a changeup. That ball drilled to left. A second runner around third is Worth to follow Murphy. The Nationals lead 4-0. Jose Lobaton checks his name up on the RBI list.
Line is moving in the first, folks. Jose Lobaton looks like maybe the same pitch that Daniel Murphy got. A sinker running down the way. In the lefties in the Nats lineup, minus Bryce Harper, love that pitch. Daniel Murphy loves it. Danny Espinosa, that's his strong point. Now Jose Lobaton going the other way. You see Jason Worth with the short, choppy steps. That's what you do when you have a tight hamstring, because if you reach out, you have a chance to pull it. So smart base running by Jason Worth, clutch hitting by Jose Lobaton.
Here's Gio, who has a base hit this year. Lobaton 3 for 3 career against Gibson with several years in between at bats. That's up and in. 4 runs on 3 hits, 2 walks, a hit batter.
See if he takes right here. I think so.
Yeah, running fastball, taking all the way up in the zone. Gio got a pitch up to the left side. That's the third baseman, Nunez. The Nats bat around in the bottom of the first and pick up a 4 spot.
At Nationals Park. I talked during Gio Gonzalez's last start about how he's working with the Nationals' new director of mental conditioning, Mark Campbell, on some breathing techniques that have helped him on the mound. That's not actually the only area that Campbell has helped Gio. He's helped him develop a mantra that he repeats to himself throughout his starts. That mantra is feed the family. Gio says it gives him a broader purpose, kind of some motivation that he can pull from once he's on the mound. Helps give him that fire and the drive, but it also helps him kind of slow it down when he gets into trouble out there. He'll repeat it to himself throughout his start, he tells me. He says that it's helped him kind of lock in mentally. He's as focused mentally as he's been in a couple years, and he told me that he feels that that's an incredibly valuable aspect, maybe an underrated aspect throughout baseball and all professional sports. He says, I'm feeling great mentally when I'm out there on the mound. I know Dusty Baker has confidence in me. He thinks that's a big part of the reason why he's had so much success through his first 2 outings.
That's Dan with a Coons.com sideline report. And at Coons, over 2 million vehicles sold and counting.
Did you see Dan on the pregame show today? Gio Gonzalez showing Dan how to throw the sinker and talking about how he gets on top, uses the 4-seam, 2-seam. Great stuff from Dan Coco if you missed it on the pregame show today. And great stuff right there. I love the mental side of the game. And a lot of players have phrases that lock them in, keys, and whatever works for you. And I could just see some T-shirts right now when Gio's having a fantastic season that say feed the family.
Yeah. This is Miguel Sano. He's only 22. He'll have a birthday in a couple of weeks. And you might not know that he was number 3 in the American League Rookie of the Year voting last year, behind Carlos Correa, the Houston shortstop, and for Francisco Lindor, the Cleveland shortstop. He had 269 with 18 home runs. Minnesota signed him at the age of 16 6 years ago. They've got some young outfielders, talented but very young. 1-2. Breaking ball had them all locked up. Tell you, Gio's breaking stuff and changeup dominating early here.
You see him get on top of the curveball in the dirt. Good block by Jose Lobaton. So yeah, using everything early. I like it.
Here's another one of those young outfielders. Looks like Chris Spire. Maybe moving Danny Espinosa a little bit up the middle. This is Eddie Rosario, who homered on the first major league pitch he saw as a rookie last year. That ball in between. Murphy, tough play, and Rosario just too fast. Infield hit, Minnesota's first of the game.
A pretty good effort by Daniel Murphy to the backhand, gets rid of it quick. Ryan Zimmerman tries to come off the bag quick, but like you said, Carp, Rosario just too fast. Good pitch again by Gio Gonzalez.
Got a ground ball. Next up, Eduardo Escobar, the shortstop, off to a 283 start. He's been around for a while, 27 years of age. Parts of 6 years in the big leagues with the White Sox and the Twins. Time given. Hitter asking for it pretty early.
Well, Gio Gonzalez's mental coach before the one Dan just talked about was Adam LaRoche. You remember during the game he would always go to the mound and calm him down. And I'm sure they had their own little thing they would say to each other. But that always used to get him focused and back into it when, we've noted many times he's an excitable guy out there, and how a little thing here, a little thing there kind of gets him off track. Anthony Rendon has done it a lot this year where he goes to the mound. You remember last start in Philadelphia. But you got to love the focus and the emphasis on strike one, and we've seen a different guy this year.
1-0 pitch. Boy, Escobar not very patient. Too quick. Requested timeouts here. He's 4 for 9 from the right side of the plate, and he's hitting .444 against lefties. That ball hit well to left. It'll back up Jason Worth, but he's there. One-hand grab for the second out.
With the 2016 Flex plan, the choice is yours. Pick 4 games starting at just $80. Plus, we'll throw in a free Nats grill item. Visit nationals.com/flex to buy your Flex plan today.
Kurt Suzuki hit .267 for the Nationals in 43 games 2012 after a trade for catcher David Freitas. And then for the Nats in 13, hit .222 in 79 games before the Nats traded him back to the A's.
Old battery mates in Oakland, old battery mates in D.C. facing each other.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, I think they played together in Oakland. They did.
Yeah, he was. Kurt was there 07 to part of 2012. He's 3 for his last 7. Kurt off to a slow start, 5 for 30. And then Gio misses low, 1-1. Suzuki, a .255 career hitter. And a 1-1. Breaking ball that seemed like it hit the plate and then just rocketed over the head of Lobaton and the umpire. And Gio, another 2-strike count.
Well, he's got a plus change going tonight. You can tell by the swings the Twins hitters are taking. They're not picking it up at all. Good arm speed, good arm slot, good late movement.
Gio first inning, 12 pitches, 9 strikes. Very efficient, 22 over 16 right now. And a 1-2 pitch to Suzuki. Kurt's offense has taken a pretty nice jump the last couple of years. 288 for the Twins 2 years ago, 240 last year. At the age of 32, a lot of baseball left in this guy.
Kurt Suzuki's been around so long, you just don't think of him as just 32. I mean, he looks it, but 10 seasons. He came up when he was 22 years old.
Only 5 big league catchers active right now have caught more games than him. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's way out ahead. A.J. Pierzynski the most, then Yadier Molina, Brian McCann, and Russell Martin. And we've got raindrops. It's a good take. Breaking ball diving. Suzuki gets the count back even, 2-2. And by the way, the pitcher is on deck. Paul Molitor in an interleague game on the road is batting his pitcher 8th. Nissan tracks the at bat. Runner goes. Swing and a miss, inning over. 6 outs, 4 on strikes by Gio Gonzalez. A 4-run lead. Top of the order, yeah, coming up again. Come out to the ballpark on Tuesday, April 26, Nats Phillies. Teddy Plush sticking himself all over the ballpark here.
He was in our booth.
First 20,000 fans will receive a Teddy Plush window cling.
How'd he get his huge head through the door is what I want to know.
Yeah. Maybe a crane brought him up and he didn't.
Yeah.
Visit Nationals.com, by the way, for all your ticket purchases. Michael A. Taylor leads off again against Kyle Gibson. First inning. He somehow got through 9 hitters on 29 pitches. Gio's thrown 26 in 2 innings. He got ahead of Taylor first time, then dropped the big hammer on him. Kind of like that first pitch. There's another one.
Well, you got to keep getting him until he shows he can hit him.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to sit on one, you know? Say, I'm going to drive this out of the ballpark the other way, let it get deep, and just disregard the fastball.
And I love the 3 words you said. The other way. That time he got a changeup.
Sometimes as a big league hitter, when you have a book on you, you have to sit on the pitch that you know they're going to throw you. And it makes it a little bit easier to hit that pitch. And then once you hit that pitch, you actually get back to your strength, which is anything else. So if I'm having trouble with the slider as a hitter, I'll go up there one at bat and say, well, I got to show them I can hit this pitch. And when I hit it, it doesn't necessarily have to be a hit. But if I square it up, look at these guys talking hitting. This is great. Then they're not going to throw it again, and they actually go back to my strength because I showed them I can hit my weakness.
Murphy and Drew right there. Michael got jammed. They'll have to hurry. Escobar played it well. Got him in plenty of time for the first out.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one tonight, to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. That's brought to you by Miller Lite.
Let's see where they play Anthony Rendon this time. Similar fashion. Maybe that hole on the right side not as big. Seems to me like Joe Mauer's further off the bag than he was. Rendon was in the hole. He got a breaking ball, waited for it, and then just bounced it through, and he hit it pretty hard where the second baseman usually would be. So here you are, second inning, and the hitter's already seen Gibson second time around. You got Bryce on one pitch. Chopper in front of the plate first time. Rendon right up the middle, off the glove of Dozier. And we'll see how they score it.
I'm scoring that hit. I mean, he's going away from the play. He's going to have to throw that ball from deep shortstop, or where a shortstop would field it up the middle, across his body, and Rendon could run. So, yeah, that's a base hit. They scored a hit?
Yeah, they did.
Good. I mean, good effort by Dozier, but once he gets this, I don't think he's going to have time to get Rendon, because that ball wasn't hit that hard, so Rendon's running the whole time and hit all the way.
Twins have had some defensive issues. They've made 12 errors, only Oakland 15 with more in the American League. So Anthony Rendon's 2 for 2. Here's Bryce. Minnesota infield double play depth. Harper didn't swing at the first pitch this time, and a good take on a changeup. Target outside edge.
I think that was a changeup Bryce swung at first time, so he's seen nothing but changeups so far, 3 of them from Kyle Gibson. Fastball in. This could be loud if you don't get it in there.
1-1. Upstairs. Inside the numbers from Jeep. So home runs tied for first with Trevor Story of Colorado. The slugging, the RBIs, everything working right now. Just over 6.5 at bats per home run.
See, the difference between the last two fastballs, one was a two-seamer that he ran back. That one was a four-seamer. So why did Bryce Harper start his swing? He thought it was the two-seamer again. It was going to come back. It stayed straight. And he realized it just in time to check his swing.
Two-two. Harper reaching for it, popped up left side. Nunez makes the call for the second out. Didn't seem that big of a deal at the time, but with a runner at first and 2 outs in the first, Ryan Zimmerman worked a walk, and then the inning lasted 5 more batters, and the Nationals picked up 4 runs. So Ryan, 11 strikeouts, 5 walks on the year. Got his first home run in Miami. The division is all over the map tonight. Mets are at Atlanta, scoreless early. Phillies are at Milwaukee. The Marlins are at San Francisco later tonight. They're expecting quite a reaction when Barry Bonds makes any kind of appearance out there. So the Nats by 3.5 over the 500 Mets.
Maybe instruction, Dusty Baker telling him to get on his legs, sit down a little bit. Now he's closer to the baseball. He can see it. When you're standing up, sometimes that contact zone, when you're tall, like Michael Taylor, is so far away that if you actually get into sort of a squat, like Dusty Baker's shown him, you can see the ball better.
Zimmerman hits it hard. Right field corner. It's deep. Sano is there to make the one-handed grab as he crosses the line. So the Nats get a base hit from Rendon. He's 2 for 2, 4-0 home team.
Gonzalez strikeouts, and it's been mostly with the changeup, I believe. Curveball too right there to Eduardo Nunez, kind of finessing his way through 4 Ks. So curveball, changeup, curveball, changeup. That's how the strikeouts have gone so far for Gio Gonzalez. All set up with strike one. Now it's time for Toyota Keys for Kids. Washington area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season.
Here's Kyle Gibson, the pitcher. He is 2 for 9 career as a big league hitter. Pretty big hack. Ended up being a one-handed swing. And the count 0-2 for Gio, who's now thrown 28 pitches, 21 strikes. Boy, he is really becoming a pitcher here. 5 Ks of the 7 outs. When you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. Brought to you by PNC Bank. For the achiever in you, we check in on Jose Marmolejos, playing single A ball with the Potomac Nationals. Pretty good start. On base percentage .463, and he is on base plus. He's slugging.
He's ready. Call him up. Marmolejos. It's a big league name. Marmolejos. Makes you want to say it, right?
I think I had some of that on my toast in Miami yesterday.
You did. Orange Marmolejos.
Here's Byron Buxton. Man, this guy can fly. They're hoping he can hit enough at the big league level. 209 in 46 games last year. 6 for 37 this year. There's a ground ball. There better be an alert and some hustle going on into the infield. Rendon's creeping in from the third base side. Buxton's from Baxley, Georgia.
Trouble making contact on a consistent basis. Twins people were telling me today. All the tools in the world, though.
Lifted to left, pretty deep. Worth back, taking a look, jumping. He's got it right at the top of the wall. Jason Worth keeps it from leaving the yard. Best play he's made in left field to date. And it stays 4-0 Nationals.
I mean, did he rob it? I got to see the replay. I mean, the height of Jason Worth, the height of him is why he gets it. Watch him go up on the wall right here. 6'4", used every inch of it. Boom, he did rob him. Took it out of the flowers. What a play by Jason Worth. He timed it perfect. Reaches over the fence. The ball sticks in his glove. And Gio Gonzalez with a surprised look, the fist in the air. And I think we were all surprised. That ball hung up there a long time. That gave Jason Worth a chance to get back there and make that play.
Here's Nunez. He'll get a nice ovation for the fans by the first base dugout when he comes in. Here comes one that's more of a line drive. He's going to get that one too. Jason Worth, like a kid, having fun. Dad's hitting him some fly balls, and he's going after every one of them. Well done.
Jason Worth going back to the wall, robbing a home run from Byron Buxton. I think the key here is just the length of Jason Worth. He gets back and doesn't really, well, yeah, he did stick his foot in the fence. Maybe it propelled him a little bit. Timed it perfect. Sticks in the glove. Made that play like it was 1999. And this one going to the foul line. Gio Gonzalez waiting for number 28, who had a heck of an inning defensively. Nicely done.
Here's Murphy. Worth on deck. Walking a run his first time. Murphy now hitting .579 at home, by the way.
I mean, remember, that's all with a tight hamstring. He came out of the game on Saturday, or Wednesday, excuse me, in Miami. Missed yesterday's game. The reason I said Saturday, because every day game in my mind is Sunday. And yesterday was a day game. But regardless of what day it was, you know, he's playing on a tender leg.
Way inside to Murph. Inside the numbers. Look at Daniel Murphy in all these different situations. Ahead, behind, righty, lefty, home, road.
It doesn't matter.
Amazing. Batting average is .415 right now. He pulls it. That's fair. It's another multi-hit game for Murphy. Digging for two. Sano up with it. Way late. And Daniel Murphy has another double. He's piling up the extra base hits. 2 homers, 2 triples, and 5 doubles.
Another 8 hours of sleep for Daniel Murphy tonight, because he's got 2 hits already. 2 at-bats, 2 hits. Just kind of the sign of the times for the Nats second baseman. Another double for Daniel Murphy. And look at the hustle. The head-first dive into second base. What's not to love about the Nats' new second baseman? I mean, he is hard hat, lunch pail, barrel to baseball, playing hard every single night, and he likes hitting at home. .600 average here in Nats Park. Come on.
They are pitching overhand, right?
He's just that good.
Here's Worth. Jason Worth out to the gap, and that's grabbed by Sano. Tagging is Murphy, goes to third. That's good base running. He gets over there with 1 out, and Jason Worth almost had a gapper.
Well, you see Sano kind of playing this into almost a base hit for Jason Worth. He kind of took the banana route to that ball. He went back, then came in, caught it on his shoestrings. But like you said, Cart, for Daniel Murphy to be tagging up on that, that wasn't an easy play for Murphy, because you thought that ball had a chance to drop. He advances to third, so good at bat by Jason Worth, and now Danny Espinosa, a chance to drive in another.
Yeah, a lot of base runners would have been caught in between and then have no choice but to return to second. That was really good. So here's Danny. An RBI on a pitch off of his elbow first time, and now a chance to swing the bat and get another. Into the 8 o'clock hour here at Nationals Park, where the home team is 5-1 on the year, coming off a 4-3 road trip. Daniel Murphy 2 for 2. Anthony Rendon 2 for 2. Worth has made 2 for 2 great defensive plays. And Espinosa looks for RBI number 2. Lots of pitches. 29 first inning, 16 more in the second. Infield in, but the outfield has to respect Danny's power, enhancing his chances of flaring one in somewhere. That's a line drive, and it's 5-0. Espinosa makes the turn. He'll stop and go back, and Danny Espinosa has 2 RBIs.
I mean, 2 strikes. He's thinking just put the ball in play, right? And he gets the curveball out over the plate, drives it to right field. And they're just playing good baseball. I mean, we can talk all we want about 11-4 and get excited about it. 2 weeks into the season, whatever. Look at the brand of baseball this ball club's playing. They're getting on, they're getting over, they're getting in, they're throwing strikes, they're high-fiving, they're having a good time, they're playing good defense. They're playing good baseball. It doesn't matter who they're playing the game the right way. The record is just a byproduct of how they're playing. And it's something to get excited about early in the season.
It is.
Not the record, but how they're playing. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely.
That gives you confidence when you go to St. Louis and Kansas City and Chicago, because you're taking care of business the right way. These guys all know, how to play the game the right way. But Dusty Baker's ball club is executing. So that's what I'm hanging my hat on early, not the record, whatever with the record at this point. I mean, it's great, but the process.
Well, when you're catching the ball as well as any team in the league, and your staff ERA is number 2 in the league, and was number 1 most of the time until yesterday.
I mean, they could be 11-4 playing poorly against the teams they're playing, and you could sit here and have a false sense of excitement, but they're 11-4 playing really good baseball against whoever they're playing. And that's the main point.
Well, you saw it last inning. Gio works quickly, throws strikes. Worth, not known for defense at this stage of his career, comes up big because your guys are on the balls of their feet, not their heels. Then you come in and get some timely hits, and it's all working together. 1-1 Lobaton, 2-run single first time. 3-for-3 career against this pitcher. Twins don't have the bullpen working yet.
And we've seen it in the past with Nats ball clubs. They just out-talent somebody. They go out there and maybe they don't play the cleanest game. They don't get a guy over. They don't get a guy in. They make an error. But they still win 4-2 just because they had more talent on the field than the other team. That might be the case this year, but the brand of baseball is strong.
Strike 2. Well, Dusty Baker uses his guys, all of them. And tonight, Lobaton, now 2 for 8 on the season, got his first 2 RBIs. And a 1-2, and he just flexes his knees, extends to stay alive. '28-year-old Kyle Gibson, first career start against the Nats. Washington will see Phil Hughes tomorrow, Irvin Santana Sunday. What a take. 3-2, 2-2, pardon me. Right under Jose's hands. Espinosa running. Lobaton stays alive again. Minnesota staff coming in. 3.68 ninth in the American League. They have won 5 of their last 7 after that disastrous 0-9 start. The good at bat by Lobaton continues.
Yeah, they won 4 in a row after going 0-9.
Yeah. The Twins and the Braves won their first games of the year on the same day, so neither went 0-10, but that Central, with the emergence of the Royals the last 3 years, has really become an outstanding division. White Sox are better this year. Cleveland has good pitching. Tigers have Jordan Zimmerman. 3-2. Lobaton launching one to the scoreboard. Around third is the speedy Espinosa. He scores easily. Lobaton digging for third. He's there. The ball on the dirt.
Look at the dugout. Look at Jose Lobaton. Everybody having fun in the Nats dugout. Their catchers are hitting triples, for crying out loud.
Jose Lobaton, third career triple.
Watch Jose run. It's tough to see that baseball if it was going to get out or not because of the scoreboard, but once it stayed in, Lobaton hustling all the way. And right here is where he kind of hit the wall. The last 4 or 5 steps, slides over the bag, gets back. And the reaction of the dugout as we looked down there was priceless once Jose Lobaton slides into third. Boys are having fun, aren't they? Murphy waving the towel.
Well, if Gio goes deep, they'll have the cycle this inning.
This is good stuff.
And he was trying to make it 8-0. Third career triple. Still just 1 out. And Gio in the hole 0-2. Look at the difference in the pitches. Gio 25 strikes out of 35. Gibson 40 strikes out of 63. And the 0-2, and he hits that ball pretty well. Lobaton tagging. Rosario kind of back on his heels. And the catcher, driven in by the pitcher, scores easily. It's 7-0. Hale to the bottom of the order here. That's Gio's 10th career run batted in. Third inning, Michael A. Taylor bats for the 3rd time. Run back fastball for a strike. Espinosa and Lobaton have combined for 5 runs batted in. So the bottom 3 spots in the order have driven in 6. Michael Tonkin throwing for the Twins. To the right side. Taylor 0 for 3. But the rest of the offense is cooking, man. Jose Lobaton. It's going to take us a while to get to break because we're going to follow him all the way to third base for the 3rd time in his career.
He's delirious. A triple for Jose Lobaton. Mercedes-Benz, though, watch Wake Up Washington starting May 2nd for your chance to win a Mercedes-Benz CLA 250 only on WUSA 9.
Game on.
Game on.
Hey, we loved their slogan from a couple of years ago, and we're trying not to let it go away.
Yeah.
So good to have WUSA 9 with us tonight. And man, what an outburst by the Nats. Middle innings are upon us. 2, 3, 4 for the Twins. Dozier, Mauer, and Sano. The Nats have made unbelievable use of their hits this year. It's another one of those games where they have 7 runs on 7 hits. They just don't waste base hits this year. Dozier struck out by Gio first time. This guy hit 28 homers, drove in 77 last year. But the scouting report by the Twins broadcasters we got, and it's great to have Bert Blyleven in the ballpark with his longtime partner Dick Bramer. He's just trying to pull everything, and that's the way they're going to play him as long as this keeps happening. And then Danny Espinosa lets it slip away. That'll be his 3rd error of the year.
Well, I just saw something you really like to see, and that's Gio Gonzalez pointing to Danny saying, I got you right here. Danny got a little flat-footed right there, might have set up a hair too soon and caught it over the right foot instead of the left foot. But Gio's got it. That's all right. That's all right. I got you right here.
Next up is Joe Mauer. Bounced out to Murphy first time. They've got a young slugger on their bench, Byung-ho Park, young man from South Korea that they signed to a 4-year deal in December. But National League ballpark with Joe Mauer, as good as he is, playing first base, nowhere for Park to play right now. He's a first baseman, but mostly a DH.
I mean, Joe Mauer is saying that he's feeling real good for the first time since all the concussions he had this year.
Yeah.
And he's seeing the baseball better.
Lobatone can't find it. And now Dozier down to second base. So on the wild pitch, after the error, the Nats have given Dozier 2 bags here. Now, when I was looking at Joe Mauer's numbers last week, the thing that jumped out at me, 158 games last year, almost 600 at bats, and he had not been able to do that in a long, long time. And he strokes one to left, could give them a run. No chance for Jason Worth. He'll just throw into second. And so Joe Mauer drives in his 6th run of the year on his 20th base hit. That's 761 RBIs. Next up, the right fielder, Miguel Sano. He's on a 5-game hitting streak, 8 for 19. Gio struck him out first time.
Now, Dan talking about Gio and the refocus phrase. This might be one of those times where he uses it a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
Thought he had a ground ball out. All of a sudden, a run's on the board. Refocus, get back in the strike zone, get a ground ball.
Yeah, another thing we haven't talked about a whole lot as part of the Nationals defense is the 18 double plays. 3rd most in the league. Dusty over the shoulder of Mike Maddox. Two-0 pitch. And he comes in with a breaking ball and gets a strike. Time given quickly. Almost too late. Gio just about headed home. Well, Lobaton was set up inside, and that's where the pitch went. No way to hit that thing fair. And it almost made its way up to the concourse. This man is listed at the age of 22 at 6'4", 262 pounds.
Played for the Redskins. Got him with the curveball last time, I think. There it is.
There's another one. Yeah, almost identical. He was asking for an appeal down to Jim Joyce, but the 13-year veteran Chad Fairchild punched him out. 6 Ks for Gio.
Well, you know, when Sano plays a little bit longer in the league, he's going to realize if you hit a fastball that's 92 off the plate inside 400 feet foul, you're probably not going to get that same pitch again. So while you still respect the fastball with 2 strikes, there's no way that Gio is going to throw that again, not after that foul ball.
There's Eddie Rosario, the left fielder. Infield hit up the middle first time. Five-game hitting streak for Rosario now, 8 for his last 14.
You know, a stat that really jumped out at me, Carp, and I mentioned it earlier in the game. The Nats are 76-48 in Gio Gonzalez starts.
Yeah.
I mean, that says all you need to know. When he starts, they have a .618 winning percentage or .613 winning percentage, because I can't read my 3s and 8s. But he's a winner. Finds a way, keeps his team in the game even when he gets the no decision. 53-34 careers in that, and 124 starts, but the team is 76-48.
Impressive. That's a front door breaking ball that was way inside. Breaking pitch, it hit the mound on the way to Espinosa. Murphy across the bag, safe at first. So Mauer retired. Rosario beats it out.
Phillies pay their first visit to D.C. from April 26th to the 28th. Pick up a Teddy plush window cling on April 26th and celebrate Military Appreciation Day presented by SAIC on the 27th. Visit Nationals.com for your Nats Phillies tickets. Cleaning the spikes. 50 pitch mark, 60% heaters.
Eduardo Escobar fly ball to Worth first time. That was in the second inning. It got Jason warmed up for his third inning heroics. Very short lead by the runner. Danny Espinosa again, busy night to Murphy, inning over. We got some do-ups for you. Anthony Rendon 2 for 2, then Bryce Harper, and then Ryan Zimmerman. Why are there only 4 running, that is, because 2 others would take the bike. There's Teddy.
That's Earth.
William Howard Taft way back there in his bike.
It's Earth Day today, right? That's why they're riding their bikes. Is that what it is?
Yeah, no gas-powered vehicles. Geico President's Race under the watchful huge eyes of the Gecko. Freight Railworks with our do-ups, bottom of the 4th inning. Anthony Rendon, interleague career. The extra base hits match the RBIs. Bryce 30 RBIs on 12 homers, and then Ryan 20 over 70, the Nats granddaddy of them all when it comes to interleague play. Not to be forgotten, that 3-homer game in Baltimore a couple of years ago. So here's Rendon, new pitcher, 26-year-old Michael Tonkin. 6'7", 220, 30th rounder 8 years ago.
Now fastball, slider, 2 pitches so far this year. He threw a changeup last year. Hasn't thrown one yet this year. A little 2-seam fastball, 94 on average. Slider, 83. 5 games. ERA 0. Batting average again solid, 158.
A lot of snap on that breaking ball. 1 strikeout, 2 walks for Kyle Gibson in 3 innings. 7 runs on 7 hits, a hit batter, 67 pitches, 43 strikes. In the bottom of the order gave him a lot of trouble with 6 runs batted in. Jose Lobaton, 4 for 4 career against Gibson. So here's Rendon looking for a 3-hit night. That's a perfect heater at the knees, outside edge. Bryce Harper yesterday against one of his favorite pitchers, Tom Kohler, first inning.
Yeah, with a little kiss right there for his 8th home run of the year. Into the baseball trees in right center field. And based on the first inning, there were some hard-hit baseballs. You were thinking it was going to be a short day for Tom Kohler, but he figured it out. Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Health System for every home run a Nats player hits this year. So keep them coming. It's for a wonderful cause. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Harper gets a breaking ball in there. And that breaking ball hit out to left. Eddie Rosario waiting for it. 2 quick outs. Next up, Ryan Zimmerman. Ryan tonight, a walk, a run, first inning, fly ball to right in the second. Only one Nat has ever faced Tonkin. Yeah, you guessed it, Jose Lobaton. All the other Nats getting their first look at this 3-year big league right-hander. That one stays out there. 2-1. "26 games last year with a 3.47 ERA.
These are ability games, and what do I mean by that? When you're playing in your division like the Nats have played so far this year, you have a good idea what someone's going to do to you. You could read scouting reports and watch video all you want, but these games are just based on your athletic ability. You're going out there, and it's like the old days when you face somebody for the first time and you see ball, hit ball. You're not really thinking, well, the last 3 times I faced this guy, he did this, this, and this. And even though Rick Shue showing guys the video of what guys have with the tablets in the dugouts this year, still, you're basically going on your ability.
3-2 pitch. Fastball away. Ryan went to get it. Interesting, Gibson, 2 hitters that had given him trouble quite a while ago. Murphy was 2 for 3. He goes 2 for 2 against him tonight. Lobaton was 2 for 2, and he gets 2 more hits. So the Nats hitters who had seen Kyle Gibson in the past, small sample, sure acted like they'd seen a lot of him. But you're right, the mystery of it all. That ball's pretty well hit out to left center. Over to get it, Byron Buxton. The Nats go 1-2-3. The 4th inning of Nationals baseball brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid. All-wheel drive, unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com tonight. After 4 innings, it's all Nats. 7. Go on here in the 5th inning.
Oh, there's one thing he wants to know. When's Bryce up? Dad, when's Bryce up?
It's going to be a couple more innings.
When's Bryce up? Dad?
Okay, let's go get some food. Kurt Suzuki for the old Washington Senators, now the Minnesota Twins, top of the 5th. Kurt struck out swinging first time. The pitcher's spot is due up next since they're batting him 8th, and Tonkin is in the on-deck circle. That ball's well hit. Right at the middle. Kurt Suzuki has a knock. Follow Nats Baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Up to the moment, you can stay that way with game day live game video highlights, StatCast. So download it. It's MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. Michael Tonkin, first major league at bat. Looking to sacrifice, pulls it back, ball 1. Pulls it back again, 2-0.
Anthony Rendon talking to Gio. Hey, let him bunt it to me, dude.
Yeah.
I got you.
We're up 6.
This is where you just lose me on interleague play. Seriously. You got a guy that's never hit before. I mean, remember when the Orioles played here a few years ago and Vladimir Guerrero didn't play the whole series? And people came here to see Vladimir Guerrero play, and because of the DH and lack thereof, he sat for 3 games.
Yeah, it's a complicated thing because so many National League fans do not want to see the DH in this league.
Or just an interleague play. I mean, this guy's never hit before, and he's going
so
up
you'd
there.
like to see it home and road.
Yeah,
okay.
interleague play, yes.
I think we could all live with that.
I'm all about the pitcher hitting in the National League because these guys work on it, they practice, but it's such a disadvantage for American League teams going to National League cities and pitchers that never hit.
Yeah.
You're risking injury, you're risking, I mean, you're not having your DH in the game, so your lineup's weaker. You're built one way for 150 games, but then for the interleague games, you have to scuffle and figure it out.
Out of play to Buxton.
He loves to hit. He loves to compete, whatever it is.
Jock Jones. You and I looked up his numbers the other day. Man, that guy could rake, and we didn't have any idea how many career home runs he had.
He had some big seasons for the Twins.
About 170 career home runs.
27 one year. 2 years he hit 27.
Yeah, Twin for 7 years. You can see the rain coming down. We're 2 outs away from this being an official ball game.
Yeah, Jock hit 27 home runs in 2002. He had 27 for the Cubs in 2006. Then he had a 24 home run year, a 23 home run year.
Our
career 277 average, it says here, in 10 years.
Yeah. I'll tell you a great story about Jock Jones. Remember 02 when they were talking about contraction in the major leagues and some teams might just be disbanded? The Twins were one of those teams that were looking at that. And on opening day, after they, I guess you would say, narrowly escaped being one of the contraction teams, Jock Jones hit a home run on opening day that year, 2002. And the Twins went on to have a pretty good offensive year, and there was no talk of contraction again. But some of the Minnesota people remember that home run as a very significant thing right out of the gate that season when a team almost went away. I mean, that was crazy when you think about it. You guys don't get to play anymore because you're not drawing enough and you're in a small market. And there was talk about that back then, and that was a scary time in baseball. Gio, by the way, strikeout number 8, Nissan.
Good frame by Jose Lobaton. Pitch track didn't like it, but a nice presentation by the Nats catcher.
And I know the Expos were being discussed as one of those ball clubs. Thank goodness that did not happen. Eduardo Nunez is 0 for 2, strikeout. And then the line drive that Jason Worth ran over to his right and grabbed, ending that 3rd inning. Asking Chad Fairchild whether it was a strike. Target up and in. Gio got it out over the plate, but it's a pop-up to right. Murphy pointing up for Bryce to grab it, and another 0 on the board for Gio Gonzalez. Pretty night at the ballpark. He likes that scoreboard too.
Game summary brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Arlington. Visit them at www.justmercedes.com. All Nats right from the get-go. They came out swinging. They were ready to play, and they had a 4-run first. What a beautiful swing by Daniel Murphy, right? You thought that swing was nice. How about the exact same swing from Jose Lobaton? A low line drive to left. That scored Jason Worth. High fives everywhere. Nux at first with Davey Lopes. Stars and Stripes unis. Everything Nats here tonight.
Yeah, everything working well. Tanner Roark, Phil Hughes tomorrow.
They can throw a few of those runs down to 7th Street real quick if they wanted to.
Strasburg and Santana Sunday. There's the at-bat that resulted in the 2-bagger. And Murphy with authority to left field again, chasing Rosario back to within a step of the track. Murphy showing some opposite field pop right there.
He can just flat out hit. I mean, everything he hits is on the barrel, and it's not just fastballs. It's every pitch, slider, changeup, curve, whatever you have. It doesn't matter because his foot's down early. He's seeing the baseball like a basketball and everything on the barrel. And even when he doesn't hit it on the barrel, he throws it in for a hit.
Worth 0 for 1 with a walk. Flirted with an extra base hit down the right field line. Miguel Sano went down there and grabbed one. Actually, the one down the line was the one Zimmerman hit at the end of the second. Worth's was that one over toward the gap. But that Sano grabbed it, and Murphy made the outstanding base running play to tag and get over to third for the first out. So here's a 1-1 to Jason. Strike two. They've got a shift on here. But now with 2 strikes, their second baseman, Brian Dozier, walks over to the other side of the bag.
Pretty soon they're just going to call them infielders.
Yeah.
And that's it. What position do you play? Infielder?
Davey Loeb said the same sort of thing in Miami. They said, why not call everybody a rover?
Infielder.
Worth gets a big whack at that one. See you later. Quite a night for Jason Worth. And the Nats lead 8-1. The power is coming.
I'll tell you what. Jason Worth's 2 best days this year have been after off days. So a small tip of the cap to Dusty Baker for giving Jason Worth some days off and having him come back fresh the next day. Yesterday, even though he tweaked his hamstring, was a scheduled day off for Jason. And then a big night here tonight. The great catch in left field, robbing a home run. Hit the ball great his last time out. Now checks in with his 3rd home run of the year.
Yeah, 2nd this week. Had one Tuesday. Part of that barrage in Miami.
I mean, this was just hanging, and you knew as soon as he hit it, it was gone. Just right out over the plate. Catches it out front. That great 2-hand extension.
Jason Worth, number 201. So he and Ryan Zimmerman are at 201. Bryce just got to 100 and then way beyond. So the Nats have now hit 20 homers on the year. And it's game number 15.
Excuse me, Carp. And the biggest thing for a veteran player too is buying into the, hey, you have a scheduled day off, because guys don't like them sometimes. So when you have them and then you come back the next day and you have a good game, now the next time the manager says, hey, the 3rd game of this road trip, you're off. You're like, okay, because I know the 4th game of this road trip, I'm going to have a good game, or at least feel good.
Yeah. Espinosa having a night. Almost the same place he rifled a base hit last time. He'll pull up and go back, and Danny Espinosa is 2 for 2 on base for the 3rd time. Bottom of the order is just hammering the ball tonight, and that includes the guy walking in, Lobaton. Next 5 ball games will take us through the rest of this homestand. Twins at 1 o'clock tomorrow, 1:30 Sunday. Night games with the Phils after the off day Monday, and then a Thursday 4 o'clock game before the Nationals fly to St. Louis to start that really imposing road trip against the Cards, the Royals, and the Cubs. Tanner Roark goes tomorrow.
Clean shaven Tanner Roark. They're having fun. He's trying to figure out what to do with that thing. Yeah, put it on my head. When in doubt, put something on your head. I always say, if you don't know what to do with it, put it on your head.
Now he looks like a fireman.
They'll be doing that in college someday too.
Jose Lobaton, 0 for 1 career, the only Nat who's seen Michael Tonkin before tonight. Nats only won 3 out of 10 interleague games at home last year, punctuated by that really frustrating series late against the Orioles. Wow, quite a play by Suzuki. Kurt had to reach way across to keep Espinosa at first base. Time to check the webbing in the mitt.
That toothpick's down to nothing. Did you see that? You can't even see it. Probably the same one that's got runs in it, so he's not going to give it up.
Yeah. Wobatone on for the third time.
Look at, you can't even see. He's got a toothpick. You can barely see it, right? But he's probably been chewing on that since the 4-run first, so it's working.
Gio made serious contact last time. Sac fly to cap off a 3-run third. Well, Minnesota couldn't buy a hit to drive in a run in those first 9 games. Nats have been pretty steady in that department, with Bryce Harper at 600 leading the way. Gio lays one down. Nobody to throw to at third. So Tonkin had to go to first.
You know it's on May 28th, Bob? Taste of the World. Celebrate DC's international community with Taste of the World. With a special ticket, enjoy a pre-game culinary experience and take home a set of Nationals salt and pepper shakers. Visit nationals.com/special ticket events to buy today. Tasting the world. It's Earth Day, so yeah.
Several cuisines being enjoyed right there. Michael A. Taylor wants to join the hit and the RBI parade tonight. He's 0 for 3, 5th inning, his 4th at bat. Thanks to Gio's second sacrifice of the night. Runners at second and third, 2 outs in an 8-1 game. Got a fastball. Rifles it to left and right at Eddie Rosario. Good swing by Taylor. 1 out, Jason Worth, bottom of the 5th. And there it went. Second homer this week. 3rd of the season, RBI number 8. And the Nats have blasted Minnesota pitching tonight.
In D.C., the offense has been about league average for the Nationals so far this season. 15th in the majors in batting average, 13th in runs scored, but they came into today with an 11-4 record, second best in the entire major league. So how does that happen? Well, they've gotten great starting pitching to begin this season, second best ERA in the majors, up by nearly a run from the first 15 games last year. Fielding percentage, first in the majors, and they were ranked last this time last year. So it's been a combination of clutch hitting combined with fantastic starting pitching and much improved defense over this time last year that has let this Nationals ball club build that 11-4 record. The big, gaudy offensive numbers haven't been there, but as FP was talking about earlier on, the style of play has been solid, clutch hitting, and all-around team baseball.
Yeah, moving base runners, pitchers laying down sacrifice bunts. Matt Dendecker replaces Jason Worth in left field for the top of the 6th. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting at Coons. That was Dan with our Coons.com sideline report. Gio's 67th pitch, 48th strike. Brian Dozier 0 for 2. Reached on the Espinoza error last time. Scored on the Mauer base hit after a wild pitch.
Jason Worth shutting it down for the rest of the night, talking to the trainers.
And just a light drizzle here.
It's not killing me, but I can feel it look. And when you're up by 7 runs, no need to take any chances.
Two, 3, 4 for the Twins. Dozier, Mauer, and Sano. Rendon thought about cutting it, but Espinoza was right behind him. Ryan Zimmerman on an in-between hop with a spectacular pick. 1 out.
You see Danny Espinoza fields it in the hole and then throws a sinker to Ryan Zimmerman, and watch the pick. Stays on the bag, a little spin move. It's in the glove. Nice play by Ryan Zimmerman.
Here's Joe Mauer, 1 for 2 with an RBI hit. Lefty, but the Nats play the shift.
You know, when you play shortstop your whole life and you move to second base, there's a way you feel the ball at second base. It's different from shortstop. And when you have the arm that Danny Espinoza has, you can get into the habit at second of fielding the ball flat-footed, because you don't have to circle the ball or charge the ball the way you do at shortstop, because the throw is so short and you have such a strong arm.
Over to Ryan Zimmerman, 2 outs.
Where at shortstop, you have to circle the baseball, get around it, and have your momentum going to first base so that you can get on top of the baseball and make that good throw. And there's been times this year when you're seeing him field the ball at shortstop like he did at second. Yep. Other than that, he's been flawless. I mean, he's made amazing plays going up the middle, the strong arm going to his backhand, the running plays going to left field. But just at times, you can see that second base creeping into his shortstop play that as the season moves on, you won't see anymore.
Yeah, it's a good call. Always helps to have a first baseman over there who will save you some errors. So the Twins, 1 RBI hit. Mauer in the 4th. Their other 2 base hits. Suzuki, former Nat, leading off the 5th. And before that, the infield hit back in the 2nd by Eddie Rosario. Gio has used breaking stuff buried in the dirt to twice strike out Miguel Sano. Sure like that 0 BB over there on the last entry. Gio came in 12 strikeouts, 3 walks in 13 innings his first 2 starts.
And now it's 20 strikeouts and 3 walks.
Yeah. He's pitched well enough to have a chance to go 3-0, but he doesn't have a decision yet. He's been involved in some tight ball games.
He keeps pitching like he's pitching, like back to the whole process thing. The wins will just be a byproduct of the way he's pitching. It'll happen.
Shift has gone to the other side of the infield. It looked like Sano tried to pull that outside off-speed pitch. Mercedes-Benz will let us know where it crossed the plate, if it did.
Another good changeup. See if he goes back to the well. Like you said, Carp, 2 curveballs for strike 3. Do you throw it again?
Why not? He tried to buzz him with a fastball to the inside edge. 3-2. Right on the hands. Kind of a wild one in Atlanta. Mets 4, Braves 2 Third inning, Matt Harvey, the starter there tonight for New York. They've played 500 balls so far. Target in on 3-2, and Espinosa almost got it. The shift almost took away the hit. Sano just hit it too hard, and he has a 6-game hitting streak.
Man, ready for the fastball. Well located, right where Jose Lobaton wanted it. Just to give you an example of Gio versus last year, this time last year he had 14 strikeouts and 10 walks. This year 20 strikeouts and 3 walks.
Eddie Rosario is 1 for 2. Mound appears to be in great shape despite just some sprinkles here tonight. Eddie Rosario from Puerto Rico. He was a Twins 4th rounder 6 years ago. As a rookie last year, he had 15 triples. That was the most in the major leagues in 14 years for a rookie.
Haven't been to their ballpark, but just seeing it on TV, it seems conducive to the triple.
Yeah. Yeah, Bert Blyleven told me he thinks it's a very fair ballpark. And obviously in Minnesota it can be quite chilly in April. Target Field, their new home. We've never been there. In fact, we thought we were going there this year because 3 years ago the Twins were here. 3 years ago the Nats played at Kansas City, and the Nationals are going back to Kansas City. So for some reason those cities did not flip-flop for us, and we've still never seen Target Field.
And for some reason I've never been meant to go to Minnesota ever.
Danny Espinosa right to the bag. 4-hitter for Gio through 6. They've stranded 4 runners. It's all Nats, 8-1.
Miller Time brought to you by Miller Lite. It's got to be Jason Worth, right? Jason Worth, you got the look of somebody who wants to rob a home run, so he takes one away. And maybe the morning papers tomorrow say Worthquake because he robbed one and then he hit one. So have a 5-inning game, Jason Worth, all over the place tonight. Don't forget, he got robbed of one in right field, too. So
Anthony Rendon goes up swinging. It's a fair ball for Joe Mauer. Anthony stops right at the bag as Maurer grabs it. One down. Third inning of work for Michael Tonkin in relief. Well, the Nats box score. Let's talk about the multi-hit guys. Rendon 2 for 2 to start his night, as did Murphy. Jose Lobaton took him till the third inning to go for 2 for 2 and drive in 3 runs. Espinosa, couple of hits, 2 RBIs. And Gio checks in with an RBI on a sac fly and a sac bunt. Team effort tonight. All this despite Bryce Harper being 0 for 3.
Dusty talking about maybe giving Bryce off a day here coming up with the day games back to back. We'll see.
Probably come off the bench and go Roy Hobbs on us.
Yeah, why not?
The Miami series was pretty interesting. The Marlins pitched around him most of the series, but just the couple of times they challenged him, it might have cost him 2 ball games. 4-pitch walk. So Bryce has now been on base 15 of the last 16 games. Second walk issued by Michael Tonkin, or Tonkin, pardon me. Next up, Ryan Zimmerman. Hit the ball hard to center last time up. Wicked breaking ball, and somehow Kurt Suzuki picks it cleanly. Ryan had a big time rip at a pitch up.
Nowhere to go, up by 7.
Then suddenly Tonkin losing his feel for the strike zone. They have a right-hander, Ryan Presley, warming up. Their closer, Glenn Perkins, is out with a left shoulder strain. Kevin Jepson, a right-hander, has a couple of saves this year. And Zimmerman, a 2-hopper to the shortstop, Escobar to Dozier, and a 6-4-3. This ball game into the 7th inning. Nats 4 in the first, 3 in the third, a run in the 5th. Is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. And that's digging in early tonight. Masson, WUSA 9 teaming up tonight, and you spend a lot of time commuting. You could be doing it in your own brand new Mercedes-Benz. Watch Wake Up Washington starting May 2nd and have a chance to win a Mercedes-Benz CLA 250 only on WUSA 9.
You know, the game summaries with Mercedes, don't be afraid to throw one toward the broadcasters once in a while.
That one's thrown to left field. Solid hit by Escobar.
We sit in traffic too.
I am not worthy.
I'll be that guy that sits in traffic in a Mercedes.
Kurt Suzuki is next. He's 1 for 2. Gio hasn't given up more than 1 hit in any inning. Escobar with a short lead, and Suzuki's 2 for 3, serving 1 to right. So the pitcher spot is due up, and we'll see that big young man I was talking about earlier, Byung-ho Park, who hit 210 home runs in 9 years in Korea. 53 last year with 146 RBIs and 52 the year before that.
A little breather here. Mike Maddox going to jog out there. Well, maybe he gets some action going in the Nats bullpen. '85 pitches for Gio, 59 of them for strikes.
And he's thrown 95 and 100 in his first 2 starts.
Payphone in effect in the bullpen right now. Did you have to put quarters in that thing? Not in that one.
That was a shot of our new bullpen coach, Dan Farova, taking that call. And Gio gets one in there. Sean Kelly is up. So Park 4 homers, 5 RBIs so far. A couple of doubles to go with it. Twins signed him to a 4-year deal. He's 29 years of age. He'll have a birthday in July. Three and one. Not very close, and the bases are loaded with nobody out.
This is where Rendon's going to come over try to calm Gio down, and I don't know if Dusty's going to come get him right now. He doesn't look like it. Sean Kelly, I don't think is ready. Maybe he is. We'll see. Yeah, that's it.
And Gio was cruising through 6, 83 pitches, 57 strikes. Then a couple of hits in 1 inning for the first time tonight. So Gio will go 6+. The applause is already starting. He's had 3 real good starts so far this year. Nationals baseball on Masson, brought to you by American Standard Heating and Air. It's their all-star sales event with up to $1,100 in instant rebates or 0% APR for 36 months. By Ocean City, Maryland. Let us show you a good time in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. And by your local Kia dealers. Visit DCKiaDealers.com to learn more. Nice night at the ballpark. Weather has held off, save for a few sprinkles. So Gio goes 6+, 6 hits, a run, responsible for up to 3 more. And here's Sean Kelly.
Yeah, 2 pitches, fastball, slider. Throws the slider more. Fastball average at 90, slider 80.
31-year-old from Louisville, Kentucky.
And this is where he could make a lot of friends as a reliever, leaving those inherited runners out there. Gio Gonzalez pitched well through 6.
Byron Buxton facing him for the first time. And Kelly gets 81 upstairs for a swing and a miss. I had that first outing in Atlanta when he couldn't find the plate, and ever since, very good. And the 0-2. Great breaking ball off the plate to get the strikeout. 1 down. Nissan will track it.
Well, Dusty liked the slider versus Byron Buxton, so he went to Sean Kelly in the bullpen, and it's a 3-pitch see, all sliders. And the last one might have been the best because it looked like a strike, broke off the plate late.
Yeah, guys eager to drive in runs. Slider, slider, slider. Here's Nunez. Eduardo 0 for 1 career against Sean. Goes the other way for a base hit. 1 runs in. Harper charging. Second runner coming home, and Bryce will do the right thing and just throw it in the second, and this is an 8-3 game. Those runs charged to Gio. And another man at second he's responsible for. Long way to go in this one. And the Nats are warming up Felipe Rivero because of who's on deck. Dozier, the hitter. Brian Dozier career 1 for 2 against Kelly. We spent quite a bit of time in the American League with Seattle and the Yankees.
Well, if you have a guy like Dozier who's pulling the ball too much, and we saw him pull off a few changeups from Gio Gonzalez, the slider away works. And maybe you get that 6-4-3 because he's reaching for it. He's in pull mode. Last time grounded out to short. Hit the ball to short twice tonight.
That one got a lot of the plate, but he popped him up. Anthony Rendon, infield fly rule in effect, 2 outs. Dusty already out. He'll bring in Rivero to face Joe Mauer. Well, Felipe hasn't worked that much lately. 1 inning in Miami yesterday, his only appearance of that series. So it's a battle of a hard-throwing lefter and a good left-handed veteran. Saturday matinee, Phil Hughes, 84 career wins, and he's 1-2 with a high ERA so far this year. Tanner Roark, 3.71 ERA, 1-2. Lefties, 171. Right-handers, though, are hitting Tanner over 420, which is hard to believe. He'll try to turn things around at his 4th start of the season. Johnny and Ray, Nats Extra, 12:30, Nats Extra, and then 1 o'clock from the booth. Saturday, Game 2. Felipe Rivero against Joe Mauer.
Fastball, slider, change. Get this, through the change 5% of the time last year. He's thrown it 20% of the time this year. Fastball averaging 95.2 miles an hour. Opponent's hitting just 160 against the Nats left-hander.
Mauer 1 for 3 with the 6th RBI of the year. And Rivero just, wow, buries that fastball low in the zone for a strike.
He's reached base in all 17 games this year for the Twins. And is leading the American League in on-base percentage.
That came in at .472. Top 8 in hitting at .339 starting this series. Up the middle, and Rivero makes a very good play. I mean, that ball had some velocity. One hopper. We're going bottom 7. And here's our Honda do-up on Daniel Murphy. He came in hitting .565 at home this year. He's now at a cool .571. Right there. So Gio gives up 3 runs, and it's nice tonight to talk about guys like Rendon and Lobaton, Danny Espinosa. Those 3 hitters, 6 base hits between them.
A lot of good things going on tonight. I think my favorite part of the ball game was Jose Lobaton's slide into third and his triple. I mean, just good stuff everywhere. But how about Jason Worth tonight? I'm robbing a home run, hitting a home run. Gio Gonzalez turning into a Tom Glavine type of pitcher out of nowhere. The smooth delivery, the sinker, the changeup, the curveball, more of a command and control guy all of a sudden when he was just, a sprayer with a fastball before. So, like I said earlier, they're playing as good as they can possibly play in all facets of the game.
So right-hander Ryan Presley takes over for the Twins, 27 years of age, out of Dallas. So Murphy faces him. 2 for 3 tonight on an RBI, 2 runs scored, single double, ho hum. This one will be pulled to the right side for Brian Dozier. Then we'll see the first at bat tonight for Matt Dendecker, who came in to replace Jason Worth in left field in the 6th inning.
Remember, Matt's hit this year was his first night right off the plane into the ball game. Pinch hit in Atlanta, shot the gap. Big knock for Dusty Baker, and he needs a feel-good knock right here.
Yeah, for Matt Dendecker, that was his only hit of the year so far. Two balls, no strikes. Good take on a ball that was a strike for a while. Dove inside. A couple of hot hitters on deck with Espinosa and Lobaton. Bottom of the order. Fantastic tonight. And a 3-0 pitch.
It's a challenge for a guy that doesn't play every day to keep that leg kick in sync, to keep it the timing of it right. When you're playing every day, you can toy with when you start it, where you put it down, how early you start it, how soft you land. But when you're not playing every day, that's a tough thing to keep timed perfect.
Dendecker with a 1-out walk.
Takes a lot of extra work. Maybe you stand in on a bullpen that somebody's throwing before BP. When you're on deck, you time a guy up, all those things, but that's a timing mechanism that usually needs to stay fresh.
Danny Espinosa started the night at 163. Couple of knocks get him up to 200. He's gone from 3 RBIs to 5, and he's up there ripping.
He can't believe he made it out. It's like, seriously?
Neither can we. Cubs are winning again tonight. They're 12-4. The Nats are 11-4. They've got a 4-1 lead at Cincinnati. Got a no-hitter last night.
Did you see what Jake Arrieta's done his last 24 starts? He's 20-1 with an 0.86 ERA and 173 strikeouts in his last 24
That's unbelievable.
Starts. That's insane.
0-2. Espinosa in swing mode. I tell you, that bat slammed right off the screen above the Nationals dugout. So he's at first base with 2 outs.
Time for some Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Yeah, let's check out Jose Lobaton because, I mean, it's fun to watch. When you think of Jose Lobaton, you think of a guy that can really catch and throw, give you a good at-bat, get his hits, but you don't think of triples. The flop into third base, getting back to the base, Bob Henley with the clap, and everybody in the Nats dugout going nuts, and my favorite part of this game so far.
Men becoming kids when a teammate hits a triple. It's great.
They're all kids. You kidding me?
Lobaton 2 for 2 with a walk. 3 RBIs.
It's a beautiful thing about playing a kid's game for a living is you never have to grow up. It's the best part about it. Well, the money's pretty good, but
yeah. Well, you let grown-ups handle the money.
No, I mean, I still haven't grown up. And it's the best thing about baseball. You never have to. There's 25 Peter Pans in that dugout.
1-0 pitch. Lobaton, a little late. Clint Robinson, if the inning continues, for Felipe Rivero. Well, Jose Lobaton would have to get 1 more RBI to equal his career high with the Nats. He's done 4 a couple of times. So, yeah, those were with Tampa Bay. He had a 3 RBI game for the Nats last year. Down at Turner Field. Yeah, he had a big extra base hit in that unbelievable comeback that was capped off by the Uggla home run. Lobaton to left. Rosario. And the Nats get a 1-out walk, and that's it. Ball game into the top of the 8th inning. Opener of a 3-game series, 8-3 Nationals. (9-1) Nats, 3-7-0 Twins. Party started early with 4 in the first, and a lot of fun will continue down at the Fitz next Tuesday. April 26th through May 1st, the Potomac Nationals are back in town just 30 minutes from here in good traffic or by boat. To purchase your tickets, call 703-590-2311 or log on to PotomacNationals.com. Felipe Rivero, 2 pitches, 2 strikes. He got Mauer on that really great reaction play to end the inning. So he'll stay in at least to start the 8th with Sano, Rosario, and Escobar coming in for the Twins. Shift on. Miguel Sano struck out by Gio a couple of times on a 3-2 pitch, a base hit to left his last time up. All these Minnesota hitters seeing Felipe for the first time.
Seriously, one of my favorite parts about coming home from a road trip is looking at the playing surface here. Is there a better playing surface in all of baseball? When you talk to the players, they love it. They can't wait to get home. You go to Philadelphia, the infield's hard, it's fast, same way in South Florida. And then you look at this place, and part of the charm when you walk in is the field. It's one of the best fields in all of baseball. At the ballpark, I mean, that's good in and of itself, but the playing surface is like no other. John Turnauer and his crew, as good as it gets in baseball.
Agreed. Plays well, plays fair. Three balls, one strike.
You'd love to golf on it, I know that.
I hardly ever take a divot. They'd love it. That ball's hit a ton to center. Taylor going back. He can only watch it. That's off the back wall out there, indicating the power of Miguel Sano. Hit that ball a ton, and it's an 8-4 game. That's a young man who had 18 homers with 52 RBIs last year.
Wow. And I mean, wow. You see him finally get extension on something. Gio Gonzalez did a nice job of tying him up with the fastball in, confusing him with the curveball late. But this one hits off the wall right below those two vents. Some big time pop from the Twins right fielder.
Yeah, all 6'4", 262 of him.
And maybe equally as impressive, turning an 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts into a 2 for 4 with a home run.
Nats might end up having to use the back end of the bullpen in this game more than they thought. That's to the right side off the bat of Rosario, and Daniel Murphy has it for the first out. So the out countdown is on. 5 to go for a win.
Follow @MassinNationals on Twitter and look for our latest retweet contest. You could win an exclusive Nats prize pack. Again, that's @MassinNationals on Twitter. Brought to you by Cox, delivering life's most important connections.
Blake Trinan was up between innings. Back up now after the home run. And Felipe got the quick ground ball. Here's Eduardo Escobar, who's trying to do the same thing Sano did, turn an 0 for 2 into an eventual 2 for 4. Base hit to left, last time up, strike one. Mets have opened up a 5-2 lead in the 5th inning at Atlanta. Nationals have played so many games in the division already, all 15 of them. Ryan O'Rourke is a left-hander working for the Twins, but the Nats will not see the Mets until after the next homestand. Part of a New York-Miami swing. 0-2, chopper, that comes fair. That's a fair ball. Tag him, he's out. You can be tagged if you're standing on home plate, not going anywhere. And Lobaton pounced for a 2 unassisted.
And well played by Jose Lobaton. He just let it sit there until it rolled fair. Then he picked it up and tagged Escobar. Watch this. Just check it out. Let it roll fair. Tag him. Chad Fairchild signaling fair ball.
Yeah.
When in doubt, run.
There's Kurt Suzuki, who has a 2 for 3 night. Five hits. His whole playing time until tonight. Then he's added 2 more.
Strange game, isn't it? One guy hits it 450 feet straightaway center, and the other guy hits it a foot.
They just called up Jorge Polanco and Trevor Plouffe went on the DL with an oblique strain. And he's next in the number 8 pitcher spot if the inning gets that far.
I wonder if he throws a nasty cutter right here. Oh, change up.
If you'd have said it twice, I would have heard an echo. 2-1.
There's the nasty cutter.
Might be the best behind the plate advertising sign ever.
Yeah, where
well done, guys.
Miss. That was a good pitch.
Even Joe Mauer said, well played. (3-1). Out to short. Danny Espinosa to his left and guns it from behind the bag. So good bounce back by Felipe Rivero. Retires 4 of the 5 hitters he faced. 8-4 Nats.
For your Kia in the driver's seat, and let's check out the swing of Daniel Murphy, because I just want to see it again. A line drive to left that scored Bryce Harper. That was his first hit of the night. Then second time up, just another lousy double for Daniel Murphy. So 1 to left, 1 to right. Head first slide into second. He'd line out to left and ground out to second. So 2 for 4 tonight so far for Daniel Murphy.
27-year-old left-hander Ryan O'Rourke takes over from Minnesota. 13th rounder 6 years ago out of Merrimack College in Massachusetts.
Fastball slider change. Fastball averages 89 miles an hour. Right-hander's hitting 500. The league hitting 375.
And at bat here for Chris Heisey, pinch hitting for Felipe Rivero. As a pinch hitter, 1 for 3 with a home run. His 12th career pinch hit home run. Just such a good right-handed bat off that bench. And he'll run down the first after an O or an ow or whatever.
Somebody got to check on how many hit by pitches the Nats have and where it ranks, but I feel like they've been hit a lot early in the season.
Well, 2 tonight. They've been hit by 5 pitches on the year, which surprises me. It seems like more.
It does. I would have said like 6.
Taylor jammed and fouls one back. Pirates and the Cardinals have each had 11 hit batters. I wonder if they did that in the first 3 games of the season when they played each other. Rendon and Harper the next 2. Michael trying to salvage a 1 for 5 here, but the left-hander is going to turn one over on him. He's 0 for 5 tonight with a couple of Ks, and Michael A. Taylor has struck out 23 times this year. 1 out. Rendon.
Dusty moved to the other end of the dugout trying to recapture the first 3 innings. I think he took his pitching coach with him too.
High in the air to right field. Miguel Sano makes the call on the catch. 2 down. Nats extra post game. Good to have Ray back with us in the ballpark. It's all presented by WB Mason when this one is over tonight. And they'll have some early lightning to talk about with the Nats offense.
Check out their new fancy studio this year with the seams and the posts right there. And they got the coverage in case it rains. They can close that thing if they just want to feel isolated away from the rest of the world. I mean, they got it made out there.
Bryce goes up hacking.
They got a jacuzzi, a masseuse on hand. They're set. A cabana boy if they want something to drink.
Bryce offered, held, 1-1. Big gap right center. Off speed. Big curveball hanging up. Stares at Bryce way out ahead.
They tried to get on top of this, didn't he? Saw it sitting up there eye level. Tried to get the bat on top of it.
Runner going. Harper swinging a miss. A rare offer for Bryce tonight the way this season's going. But all the teammates have pretty much picked things up 8-4 into the 9th. to close this thing out. Obviously a non-save situation, up by 4. Number 8 hole, and then the 9th batter, the leadoff guy. Of course, the pitcher leads off, and Blake's had a very good start to his season. A couple of wins out of the bullpen and a 1.59 ERA.
And a fastball slider for Blake Treinen. Fastball averaging 94.5 this year, averaging 96.3 last year.
So Jorge Polanco will pinch hit in the number 9 spot. 22-year-old infielder from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican, signed with the Twins the day after his 16th birthday in 2009. Jorge Polanco. Look at the movement on that fastball.
You could put that on loop, by the way, every time he pitches, because especially when he's tired, and now he's throwing a little bit slower than last year, but it's more movement.
Yeah. That ball tailing away from the left-hander, nothing he could do but hit it in the air to left. Dendecker puts it away, and the Nats are 2 outs away from a 6-game winning streak at home. 1 o'clock tomorrow. Phil Hughes, Tanner Roark. Hughes is 1-2 with a 4.42. Tanner 1-2 with a 3.71. Nats extra 12:30. There's Byron Buxton. I mean, that is such an easy 96.
Well, he's better at 94, 95 than he is at 97 to 100. And the reason he is because there's so much more sink on his fastball.
And just like that, 3-0. Twins need at least 3 base runners. And that gives them one of them. To the top of the order, Eduardo Nunez, and then Brian Dozier. And Dusty will do a little more pacing if there's a chance Joe Mauer gets up in this inning.
I think he just got his closer up. Yeah, there he is.
Yes, he does. It would be a save situation if one more man gets on.
Just looking for that ground ball. Panic button. 1 pitch away.
Nunez 1 for 4. 2-run single the other way last time up. And now Blake Smith with 5 in a row, and Lobaton heads out, and Murphy comes hustling in.
They're going to tell him to finish. It doesn't look like he's finishing his pitches. Kind of cutting it off and aiming there, trying to throw strike 1. Just let it rip. Throw it right down the middle. Let it work for you. Finish your pitches.
Mike Maddox watching every move. Here's a 1-0.
Sometimes the best advice you can give a hitter or a pitcher is let it fly. Don't think about anything. Just let it rip.
Time no pitch, said Chad Fairchild, giving timeout to Nunez. got the edge.
Well, good 2-0 comeback to 2-2. Now you're throwing down the middle, let it work in, and hopefully get that ground ball you're looking for.
Wow. Low and away, 3-2. Then Blake Trinan, maybe one pitch from coming out. Dozier next, and then Mauer. There's the chopper. One play, first base. 2 down. Good bounce back in that at bat by Blake Trinan.
Yeah, 2-0 comeback to an out. I always thought this was the tricky part if you're a closer. And Papelbon would know more than anybody with all his experience. Do I really heat up here? Do I get in between? Because if a runner reaches, it's a safe situation. He's probably coming in. So I keep my eye on him, see how he does it. Some guys will just get hot. He doesn't need that many.
Brian Dozier 0 for 4 tonight. Modified shift with Daniel Murphy up the middle, but not to the left side of second base. Thanks to that out on Nunez, Mauer cannot represent the tying run. Some kind of breaking ball right there, had the batter all locked up. Well hit to left, but Dendecker is right there. Game over. 6 in a row for the Nats in this ballpark as they come up early with huge offense and then cruise to an 8-4 win.
Ready to play baseball tonight right out of the gate with the 4-run first inning. Like you said, 6 in a row at home. Let's go crazy.
Nice call. And just a little bit of purple rain at the ballpark tonight. 8-4. Nats win it. More in a moment.